Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tefilatenu.
Dear friends, I invite you to take a deep breath and to slow down, to relax your shoulders, and to get ready for this moment, the holiest night of the year. We've worked so hard to reach this moment, and as the expression goes, man plans, humans plan, God laughs. Earlier this week, Kenner Staple tested positive for COVID. 2 members of the choir as well. So we do the best that we can, but today we do unbelievably well. Cantor Nancy Bach is a dear friend of Kenner Markowitz's, a classmate from the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music, and we are so lucky that Cantor Bach could join us, to be able to add her voice to our service, to add her voice to our community. We wish Cantor Staple, we know you're watching, so thank you for being with us, and we can't wait for you to be back, and we wish you a speedy and quick recovery. And so we take a deep breath. We return. Hashivenu, page 127.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. Return again. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. Return again and again to love.
Rise, page 14. Yom Kippur, the Jewish people's festival of the soul, and Kol Nidre, its sacred portal. A night of deep emotions, a night, as the psalmist wrote, to rejoice with trembling.
We rejoice at the sound of Kol Nidre, rhythmic words of release from vows, oaths, and promises to God we fail to keep.
We tremble at the melody, music of spiritual amazement. It fills us with awe as we stand before God and Torah.
We rejoice that we stand together, strengthened by community in this hour of shared weakness and humility.
We tremble, for tonight we confess our flaws, admit our imperfection, and acknowledge a power far beyond our understanding.
We rejoice that we commit ourselves to great endeavors because we feel so deeply and think so nobly.
We tremble, for we find that our ideals are far greater than our ability. Our promises surpass our might.
We rejoice in the freedom that is Kol Nidre's true gift, the freedom to begin a new year without fear of failure, to aspire to be God's image in the world.
Together, we tremble because we are mortal. We rejoice in our gratitude for life. We rejoice with trembling and enter Kol Nidre to face our humanity. Please be seated. Page 9. Mindy and Arnie, it's an honor to invite you to come forward to illuminate these festival candles, and Karen Lieberman and Jody Lieberman to light these beautiful, beautiful Yom Tov candles. Page 9.
The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us. Guided by the flame of conscience, on this sacred night we search for truth. Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love. We light the flame of healing and forgiveness. On this atonement night, we give thanks for love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu le'hadlik ner shel Yom HaKippurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sheheveonu v'kirvonu v'hivyonu lazon haseh.
Page 15. Kol Nidre, a chant that begins in a whisper and rises to a cry. On this night of promises remembered, each soul in solitude communes with the soul of the universe. God, from this day of atonement to the next, may we reach it in peace. All Israel makes these vows to turn from wrong, dishonesty, and greed, to walk in the path of justice and right. Yet we know our weakness, how prone we are to fail. Help us to keep our word. Help us to act with humility and integrity. We seek pardon, forgiveness. We seek your radiance and light. Kol Nidre. The evening service for Yom Kippur is perhaps the most dramatic event in the Jewish liturgical and ritual life. 9 days after the inauguration of the new year, we assemble to officially ask for forgiveness and pardon from whatever transgressions we may have acted upon during the previous year. We are reminded that if we have committed any wrongdoings against another person, we must seek that person out to personally express our remorse and appeal for absolution, and then make a commitment to not repeat our wrong actions. We take out all 3 Sifrei Torah, emptying the ark. We wear white tonight, the color of purity, so that God can see us, that we can see ourselves as God sees us. Kol Nidre is commanded, is taught to be heard 3 times, as prescribed by the tradition of reciting the text 3 times in the ancient court. Each time, we hear the melody slightly differently. First, we listen to it. The second time, it is sung. The third time, we say it together. We are honored to welcome back to Am Shalom Benjamin Manis, a longtime member of this community. Ben is currently the assistant conductor of the Utah Symphony and guest conductor of the Houston Grand Opera. Ben has been playing Kol Nidre here at Am Shalom since our beloved Marilyn Schoenfeld died 13 years ago. We miss Marilyn, but we are so honored to have Ben here with us. And when he's not able to be with us because of his schedule, he makes sure that he sends someone in his place that is of equal caliber. But we know that we are delighted that Ben has made a vow, because this is about vows tonight, to return to play Kol Nidre for at least 20 years, right? So now, the first time, we listen. We listen to one of the oldest, most beautiful legal formulas. We take stock. We reflect. We turn inward. We listen. Ken Smith. So that's the 40th time that you accompanied someone here at Am Shalom on Kol Nidre. And we are so blessed to have you also sign a 20-year deal this year to continue to play and to continue to accompany us like no other. Ben, thank you. Page 15. Or Zarua Lat Sadiq, Uyishre Lev Simcha. Light is sown for the righteous. Radiance for the joy and pure of heart. Together, page 16. With one voice, assembled sages past and present declare, all may pray as one on this night of repentance. Let none be excluded from our community of prayer. With one voice, God and congregation proclaim, all may pray as one on this day of return. Let all find place. Please rise.
Or Zarua Lat Sadiq, Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Sadiq, Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Sadiq, Uyishrei Lev Simcha.
Page 19. Give us the strength to keep our promises, the sacred vows of partners in marriage, the promises of love and care between parents and children, the promises of duty between citizens and country, the oaths of doctors, the sacred trust of teachers. Give us the strength to keep our promises to our friends and colleagues, to those who live with us and depend on us, to those who work for us, to those for whom we work, to those who pray with us, to those for whom we pray, to those we love and those we serve. Give us the courage to keep our promises to ourselves, to one another, and to future generations. Together on page 18, Kol Nidre, together all vows, resolves and commitments, vows of abstinence and terms of obligation, sworn promises and oaths of dedication that we promise and swear to God and take upon ourselves from this day of atonement until next day of atonement. May it find us well. We regret them. For all of them we repent. Let all of them be discarded and forgiven, abolished and undone. They are not valid and they are not binding. Our vows shall not be vows. Our resolves shall not be resolves, and our oaths shall not be oaths. All shall be forgiven. The entire community of Israel and the stranger who lives in their midst, for all have gone astray in error. Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now, in keeping with your boundless love. And God responded, Vayomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha, I forgive, as you have asked.
With those words, we have begun to open our hearts and ask for forgiveness, but we also open our hearts in prayer. And so we turn to page 22, where we find our call to worship, the words of the Baruch Hu. be seated as we turn to page 26. Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, for you are blessed, the one who loves your people, Yisrael. Invite our friends and our weekday Minyan regulars, Jerry, Becca, Kyle, and Hannah Gruen, to lead us in the words of the Ve'ahavta on page 30. At this point in our service, we celebrate the moment when the Israelites are finally able to leave and escape from Egypt. In Hebrew, Egypt is Mitzrayim, meaning a narrow or a constricted place. Egypt was certainly that, mostly because it was a place without freedom. However, when the time comes for our people to go, they are hesitant. This is the only home that they have known, and they don't know what's going to happen next. They fear the unknown. Perhaps we can understand how they are feeling. For many of us, we feel like we are in a narrow place, feeling the problems and the pressures of our own lives and the world around us. We do not know what is ahead of us, and that can be scary. And that can give us pause as well. But we do what our ancestors did before us. Like the Israelites, we keep moving forward, and we continue to have hope that we too will eventually come to a place of promise and a place of peace. We continue on page 40 with Micha Mocha.
Micha Mocha, Elim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Edor Bakodesh, no ראו בניך בוקר היום לפני משה ומרים ואלי ענו ואומרו פקד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גול ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכות שלום
Tefila is a journey from the God of the ancients to my rock and my redeemer. On most nights you stand on the holy summit of Tefila and see before you a land that calls out for redemption, for healing, for peace, a world that needs you. Kol Nidre is different. Tefila tonight is an inward journey that takes you deep within yourself, pierces you to the core. You stand on the holy summit of this Tefila and see before you the land within, a weary soul, yearning to be forgiven, longing to be loved. We continue with Tefila, which begins on page 46 and continues on page 48 and page 50. Please rise.
Adonai sefata tiftach ufi agi teilatecha. Adonai sefata tiftach ufi agi teilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני ונכר, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו, זוכרנו לחיים, ולחפש בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך, אלוהים חיים, למענך, למענך, למענך אלוהים, למענך, למענך, אלוהים חיים, למענך, למענך, למענך אלוהים, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו,
מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד אתה. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך רופאים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, נשארי עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידה אלך, מלך ממיט ומחיה ומשיח ישועה. מי כמוך אל הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
Please be seated. We continue on page 71. We read responsively by paragraph. On this night of atonement, grant us, God, a sense of your presence as we call upon your name. Speak your Purify and strengthen our noble strivings and cleanse us of all our unworthy desires. Help us to be loyal to the heritage we share. Draw us near to Torah in wisdom and in faith.
strengthen our devotion to our people everywhere. Keep alive our faith and righteousness and truth.
Bless us with hopes to uplift our daily lives and keep steadfast our courage and our resolve at all times.
On this night of atonement, help us, God, to be worthy of your presence
We continue on page 78. I am often asked why we pray for peace so often if peace has not yet come. And I always respond, never give up hope that our prayers will be the ones that will send peace out into the world. But not only our prayers, our deeds as well. May our prayers inspire us to bring that peace ourselves into the world. Peace, profound and lasting, all-embracing peace. Let this be your gift to Israel, your people.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל ואת כל העמים בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסות טובות תיזכר וניבטים לפניך אנחנו וכל עמך בעיר ישראל לחיים טובים לשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום, השלום, שלום, עושה
With prayers for peace on our lips, in our ears, in our hearts, we take a few moments for our own personal prayers.
Page 82. One of the repeated elements of Yom Kippur liturgy is the vidui, the confessional prayer. Vidui means confession. During this prayer, we gently beat ourselves on the chest for each transgression listed. The vidui includes the ashamnu, an alphabetical acrostic of different sins we have committed. It is said in the first person plural, because while each individual may not have committed these specific sins, as a community we surely have, and our fates are intertwined on this day. Traditionally, on the 10th day of Tishrei, on Yom Kippur, this prayer is recited a total of 10 times. 2 in the evening, 2 at the morning service, twice at the Musaf service, twice at the afternoon service, and then 2 times again at Nila. 5 times individually, and 5 times as a group. To forgive is not to forget. To forgive is really to remember that nobody is perfect, that each of us stumbles. When we want so much to stay upright, that each of us says, we wish things weren't that way. We wish we hadn't said that. That we can all forget that love is important, but it's not more important than being right. To forgive is really to remember that we are so much more than our mistakes. Judaism does not have a get out of jail card free. Tonight, tomorrow, is when we, individually and as a community, we have to do the work. Page 82. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong.
לפניך תפילתנו, ואל תתעלם מתחינתנו, שאין אנחנו עזי פנים. צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו, אבל אנחנו חטאנו. אשמנו, בגדנו, גזלנו, דיברנו דופי, Ay, 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 Avinu, Vehirshanu, Zadnu, Chamasnu, Tafalnu sheker, Yay, 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 Ya'atznu Kizavnu Latznu Maradnu Miatznu Sararnu Avinu Pashanu Sararnu Kishinu Oref Yai Shinu Oref Rashanu Shichatnu Tiavnu Ta'inu Titanu Yay, 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 yay.
Of these wrongs we are guilty. Together we betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely. We are cruel, we scheme, we are violent, we slander, we devise evil, we lie, we ridicule, we disobey. We abuse, we defy, we corrupt, we commit crimes. We are hostile, we are stubborn, we are immortal, we kill, we spoil. Page 86. Achet shachatanu lefanecha, the ways that we have wronged you deliberately or by mistake, and the harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and harm we have caused in your world through careless speech.
Al chet shachatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor.
Al chet shachatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through insincere apologies, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through violence and abuse, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty and business.
Ba'al kulam Elohas lichot salach lanu machal lanu kaper lanu. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, together forgive us, pardon us, and lead us to atonement. Page 91. Who among us is blameless? Who shall say, I have not erred, I have not wronged or sinned? Together we recite this alphabet of woe. We abuse, we brutalize, we covet, we deceive, we enslave, we feud, we gossip, we humiliate, we injure, we judge unfairly, we kill, we lie, we manipulate, we neglect, we ostracize, we plagiarize, we quarrel, we rage, we shame, we turn away, we undermine, we vilify, we waste, we exploit the earth, we yearn too much for yesterday, we too easily forget. Our sins are an alphabet of woe. Help us, Holy One, to follow your ways of integrity, justice, and love. Teach us to seek forgiveness with humility.
And an open heart.
Va'al kulam Elohas lichot salach lanu machal lanu kaper lanu, together for all these wrongs, God of forgiveness. Forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
For many of us, when we were first learning the prayers, the first one we were taught was the Shema. And we learned this word Shema, which means to hear or to listen. And so often this is directed at us, telling us that we should quiet ourselves, our hearts and our minds. We should quiet our voices. When we do that, we find that we may hear the still small voice within us. But tonight, it's a little bit different. Tonight, we ask God to listen to us. We say Shema Kolenu. We ask God to hear us, to hear our voices, and to take note of the prayers that we offer together. We continue on page 98.
Shema Kolenu, שליחנו אל תשליחנו לעת זקנה כי רות Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu Chus verachem aleinu aleinu וקבל ברחמים ברחמים וברצון את
Avinu Malkeinu literally means our Father, our King. And it presents us with a paradox. On the one hand, a parent, loving and close, and on the other hand, a ruler, an authority, a judge. Yom Kippur reminds us of this paradoxical sense of our God, both loving and close at hand, and yet also distant and inscrutable. We seek metaphors for God, but ultimately, God is both, and God is neither. And God is more than all of this. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our prayers. We continue on page 113. Please rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Some of us have cancer. Some have lost strength of body. Some have lost memory and speech. Some of us are in pain. Some can't find work. Some of us bear the marks of human cruelty inside where the scars don't show. Some live with depression. Some battle addiction. Many feel alone. Some have known shattered marriages, trust betrayed, hopes destroyed. Some of us have lost the ones we love far too soon. And some have lost a child. All of us have seen suffering in our midst. All of us know the ravages of war, for which there are no words.
Avinu Malkeinu, why? Avinu Malkeinu, are you there? Do you care? Avinu Malkeinu, hear our pain, hear our anger, hear our grief. Avinu Malkeinu, here is our prayer. Give us the strength to go on. Give us reasons to get up each day. Give us purpose and persistence. Help us to fend off fear and to hold on to hope. Help us to be kind. Don't make us bow or grovel for your favor. Give us dignity and give us courage.
Avinu Malkeinu, show us the way to a year of goodness. Renew our belief that the world can be better. Restore our faith in life. Restore our faith in you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chomol aleinu.
I guess Simply saying thank you is a good place to start. Unfortunately, a simple thanks is so inadequate for all that you have given me. You filled my life and everyone else's life with warmth and love. Your gentle kindness enabled me to realize how special love can be. As a teacher, you taught me how to laugh and you taught me how to cry. You taught me more than knowledge. You taught me the importance of feelings. Over the last 4 years, you taught me the real meaning of the words courage, strength, determination, and most of all, love. In the years to come, I only hope that I can make you as proud as you have made me. You have left us all with beautiful memories, and there is a little part of you in all of us. While we could all think of someone very special, some very special people that those words could easily be about, they are actually from the very first eulogy that I ever wrote. I typed it up the night before my dad's funeral, sitting at the typewriter in my mom's kitchen. It's on stationery that I got for high school graduation. I was 19 years old, a sophomore in college. After the funeral, I handed the paper to the rabbi, and he kept it in his files. In his own handwriting, he wrote, words written for his dad's funeral, September 14th, 1983. 20 years later, after my mom died, I found a copy of that eulogy that she must have requested in her desk. It now hangs in my office. I walk by it every day. After 28 years in the rabbinate, the number of hands that I've held of those who are dying, the number of tissues I've offered and used myself to wipe away tears, the number of eulogies I have written are too great to count. Yet there's a piece of that eulogy in every one that I write and in everything that I do. It is impossible to hide from the brokenness inside of us and around us. And I think it has something to do with the lasting power and the enduring wonder that is a broken heart. Using a word like wonder to describe the brokenness each of us carries seems confusing, confounding. Too many of us, myself included, have been touched over this last year by incredible sadness, by loss and death. We are grieving individually and collectively. Tonight, I want so desperately to comfort you, but honestly, I just can't feel comforted. I struggle, like all of you. We are all carrying a lot with us. A war raging in Ukraine, economic and civil upheaval, the overturning of Roe, terror at a mass shooting just 4 miles away, with 7 individuals killed, dozens wounded, including 3 members of this very community. And in our most personal, sacred space, there's sickness, family strife, mental illness, disability, addiction, saying goodbye. These add to the sense that what we once had is now gone. It's different, it's changed. So the words we usually call up to describe our broken hearts are more like devastated, angry, inadequate, certainly not wonder. It is why social science and research have spent decades studying how we carry and move through our losses. When Elizabeth Kubler-Ross introduced the 5 stages of grief in 1969, right here in Chicago, she didn't mean for those stages of grief to be applied to those who are grieving the loss of a loved one. She had intended that the stages be for those people who are themselves dying. 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally, acceptance of one's own death. Culturally, we started to believe that the stages should be applied to grieving all of our loved ones. That mourners should be able to start with a stage 1, follow a linear path, and graduate to a place where grief ends, acceptance. However, that is not true. We don't learn to get over it or get past it. Rather, we learn to live with it, to tend to it. The journey through grief is unpredictable. You don't know. You don't know when it's going to start. And you don't know when it's going to end. You don't know where it will lead you or who you will be when you get there. Sometimes grief comes on slowly. A diagnosis, a battle, a relinquishing of a fight, and a letting go and a letting go and a letting go until that last breath arrives. Sometimes grief comes on very quickly. A motorcycle accident, a drug overdose, a mass shooting, a sudden death. Anyone who thinks that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line does not understand grief. Grief is not a linear process, with sadness diminishing each day until it clears up like some infection. Grief ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows. Sometimes we can stand up in it, other times it pulls us under. Sometimes we can't even breathe. However and whenever it comes, we can spend weeks, years, or maybe an entire lifetime picking up the pieces. Author Rebecca Sofer writes in her book, Modern Loss, what seems so obvious, but is so difficult to tolerate. Eventually, she writes, we are all going to lose people we love. And with that loss, there is pain and loneliness. Over the years, other theories have emerged, guiding us to move from the concept of stages of grief to the concept of tasks. In his book, Grief Counseling and Grief Therapy, William Warden identifies 4 tasks in grieving: accept the loss, acknowledge the pain, adjust to a new environment, and reinvest in the reality of that new life. The tasks of grief are not states of achievement, but a fluctuating process to accommodate a new normal lifestyle within what we lost. Grief is a sign that we love something more than ourselves. It makes us worthy to suffer with the rest of the world. Warden's words widen the scope of what the journey with loss involves. National historians study grief and broaden it even further. Pauline Boss teaches that our country was founded on unresolved loss, on slavery, on the uprooting of indigenous people, on the Civil War, wars where bodies that never came home, immigrants fleeing persecution and genocide, creating, quote, a society of suffering. We are a nation, she writes, founded on unresolved grief. But with all this information on where our loss comes from and how to get through it, each journey that we all take just doesn't fit into a simple pattern package. Just the Torah itself has so many different stories. When Aaron's sons died, the Torah says, Vayidom Aharon, and Aaron was silent. When Rachel dies giving birth to Benjamin, tradition says Jacob, the love of her life, the love of his life, cried, he wailed, and then quickly set up a stone at the place where she was buried. And Isaac mourned, it says in the Torah, for 3 years following the death of his mother. According to the Midrash, he would wander the field, lost and alone. 4,000 years later, many of us are still wandering. Many of us are feeling lost and alone, crying or silent. As a friend so powerfully described his journey, I'm fine. And then, I'm not. And then, I am again. One foot in front of the other, every day. In house shoes, in boots, in tennis shoes, or barefoot. One foot in front of the other. Life goes on. But I'm not sure that life goes on is what we actually do with our broken hearts. Here is where our tradition has something incredibly meaningful to teach us. Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Kotsk, an 18th century Hasidic rabbi, wrote, Ein davar shalem yoter melev shavur. There is nothing more whole than a broken heart. Ein davar shalem yoter melev shavur. Most of us don't feel whole in our brokenness. We feel inadequate. We feel sadness. We feel shame. After all, we live in a world where we are encouraged to keep our broken edges hidden. Unhappy marriages, mental illness, financial worries, suicide, disabilities, addiction, eating disorders, family strife. We endure in the shadows. We've been taught to avoid facing pain. And if we do find the courage to accept our broken pieces, perhaps someone we love can't get there. And so we seal our hearts up, making us even more isolated and alone. Rabbi Angela Buckdahl writes, most of us would rather put some caulk in those cracks, keep busy and move forward without addressing the heartache. But Judaism's goal, she writes, is to make whole what is broken and to break what feels whole. What other tradition would take what is supposed to be one of the most perfect, joyous days of our lives, our wedding, and end it with the breaking, with the shattering, the smashing of a glass? Why is the goal not simply to repair and make our hearts whole? Here lies the challenge of what we do with our broken hearts. In Judaism, there is something more to brokenness, more to fixing and moving on. Yom Kippur, this very night, sets the stage for seeing our broken hearts with new eyes and with new intention. Tonight, on this holiest of nights, the haunting melody of Kol Nidre actually compels us to bring all of our losses, all of our sadness, and withholding forward individually and collectively. Designed by the sages as our annual rehearsal for our own death, we stare into emptiness. The ark, the Hebrew word for ark and aron, is the same word for a coffin, a casket. We empty out the aron tonight, and we stare into it. It's empty. We wear white. We fast. We stand before 3 Torahs representing the rabbinic court. The awareness of our own mortality looms over us. And these 25 hours are meant to strip us of our defenses, to push us to confront our brokenness. And as we get hungrier and thirstier and more uncomfortable, our carefully constructed lives and all the ways that we have learned to cope fall away. The goal is not to be whole at this moment. We stand before God tonight, exposed, tired, standing still at our own spiritual crossroads. And if we are brave enough in that wide, vulnerable place, we will do what seems impossible. We will let our hearts break open. We'll let our hearts break open. In the face of our brokenness, all of the rationalizations, all of the excuses, all of the defenses fall away. And we're forced to see who and what we really are. And it is here that our tradition allows for something amazing, something important. Broken open, our tears are cleansing. We know that we're not alone. Jewish mystics teach one who doesn't cry during the 10 days of repentance, their soul is not complete. Broken open, in fact, is what our soul requires. Only then can we really listen to what our broken hearts have to say. In one of the most touching eulogies I've ever heard, a friend, mourning her classmate, quoted British Indian poet Nikita Gill. "It is eerily terrifying that there is no sound when a heart breaks. Car accidents end with a bang. Falling ends with a thud. Even writing makes that scratching sound of pencil against paper. But the sound of a heart breaking is completely silent. Almost as though no one, not even the universe itself, could create a sound for such devastation. Almost as though silence is the only way the universe could pay its respect to the sound of a heart falling apart. And with a heart broken open, there is room to listen, to make us all realize the truth that I know as a rabbi, that in this complicated life, the heart can carry all the grief and sadness, while that same heart can experience unbridled joy. In fact, the very space that grief breaks open in our hearts is where that joy lives and grows." Everyone knows that Moses broke the first set of tablets when in a fit of anger he saw the Israelites worshiping the golden calf. But few people know what happened to those broken tablets after Moses received a brand new set of tablets. Both the broken and the whole were kept together in the Holy Ark, a reminder of the messy reality of life. We don't discard our brokenness. We hang on to the darkest moments. They are part of who we are. And we are still carrying both sets of those stone tablets with us every single day on that journey. The hope for wholeness, the truth of brokenness exists together in each of us. There's nothing more whole than a broken heart. It transforms us. Have I really been grieving for my father for almost 40 years? Am I still grieving? Do we ever fully heal? We all have grief, and we all need guidance, and we all have scars on our feet from the journey. Perhaps that's why walking by the eulogy on the wall of my office almost feels healing. If we don't know the power of our broken hearts and our bones before the pandemic, before July 4th in Highland Park, before we said that impossible goodbye, we certainly know it now. A student asked her rabbi, "Rabbi, why does the Torah tell us to place God's words upon our heart? Why does it not tell us to place God's holy words in our hearts?" The rabbi thought for a moment and then answered, "It is because as we are, our hearts are closed, and we cannot place the holy words in our hearts. So we place the words on top of our hearts, and they stay there until one day the heart breaks open and those holy words fall in." And if it's true that the broken hearts, the heart broken open has the potential to let something good fall in, we may find ourselves more willing and able to carry the grief we thought that we needed to dismiss, the grief we tried to avoid, the grief that continues to grow inside of us. Having wrestled with these emotions my entire life, it wasn't a surprise that art brought it all home. I was mesmerized by the beautiful memorial candles that artist Sari Shrulevitz created in Jerusalem. She wanted artistically to capture the stages of grief in her own way. For years, literally for the last 4 or 5 years, I would walk into her studio outside the Jaffa Gate, and we would talk about grief and loss as she was making each one of these memorial candles. For Sari, it was important that there be 6 candles to represent the 6 million Jews who died in the Holocaust. for we mourn them all. And that the light had to be seen in all 6 of them. In her first stage, in the first block, at the time of loss, death is jarring. It is broken. Something is just not right. Then at the funeral and Shiva, you wear a small little kriya, a small little ribbon. And so the second stage is tearing. And the second block is literally tearing open. You made the tear yourself and you feel it. It feels like it can never be repaired. As time passes, you are bereft. Literally, a piece is broken off from you. There is something missing. And so in the third block, literally, there's a piece that is broken off. The fourth stage is void. The square is the same size as all the others, but a big piece, all of the insides are missing. You only see the emptiness, but the empty space is broken open. It feels lonely and exposed. The fifth stage is symbol. You think about what that person stood for, all they represent. And the last stage, the final block, is wholeness, is memory. You are perceptibly whole. The block is the same size, but something's missing. There's no opening. The candle can be seen on all 6 sides. It reflects off of the block to remind us that that loss is always there. But that light is visible from every direction. It stands apart. Part of who you are is broken. The way we see light is different too. And so we are honored that these beautiful 6 candles are now in the collection of Am Shalom. And the first time they're ever being displayed anywhere in the world is tonight on this bima. Leonard Cohen said it best, there's a crack in everything God has made. That's how the light gets in. But it's also how the light gets out. We are all born into loss, and we grow from it. And when we experience loss later in life, we grow towards that loss. Our broken hearts are our partners in growing towards the loss. Our lives are shaped as much by those who leave us as by those who stay. Sadness and tears are not the enemy. Loss is our legacy, insight our gift, memory. Memory is our guide. Tonight on this holiest of nights, we allow our hearts to go from breaking to breaking open. This is Judaism's wisdom. As the prayer says that we say at every funeral, grief and love go hand in hand. That the pain which loss inflicts is the measure of a love that is stronger than death. Stronger than death. And so I end by returning to the words of that very scared and that lost 19-year-old. As a teacher, you taught me how to laugh and you taught me how to cry. You taught me more than knowledge. You taught me the importance of feelings. In the years to come, I only hope that I can make you as proud as you have made me. You have left all of us with beautiful memories. And there is a little part of you in all of us. May we see each broken heart for truly the wonder that it is. Ein davar shalem yoter melev shavor. Tonight, on this holiest of nights, there is nothing more whole than a broken heart.
though their time with us is done, but the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק השם הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. יש אנשים שסביב זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המפיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמרים לעולם את as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember. We remember. We
Stand as one on this night of remembrance, united in grief, united in loss, united in the power of a promise God made with us, that God will sustain us, will give praise to this life, and rise up together to renew our strength. Turning to page 122, we offer the Mourner's Kaddish. Please rise. Today we remember Esther Miriam Cohen. And Shloshim for Diane Dee Dee Heller, Lee Buzzy Lippman, Louis Cole, Richard Lewis, Susie Bizgier, Renee Goldberg, Ronald Goldberg, Callan Griffin, Alan Maltonfort, Aida Yida Kornhauser, Matthew Ascaritis, Blair Epstein, Ann Katz, Jeffrey Grade, Ronald Newmark, Jerry Golden, Daniel Latrento, Earl Madansky, Barbara Sharfstein, Jean Mesh, Helen Lokash, Flora Weiss, Earl Rubin, Bernice Nisi Kaplan, and Edward Eddie Tellman, whose funeral will take place on Thursday. As well, we remember all those who are forever woven into the fabric of our lives, all those that we remember tonight and every night, all those special people that help make us who we are. A part of them lives inside of all of us. Together we say, Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Ba'alma divrach Yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei kol Beit Yisrael, B'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavarach leolam omeh omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudsha brichu, La'ela ula'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Yom Kippur is considered one complete service. We start tonight. We continue at 9 o'clock for tots, 10 o'clock for our congregational service, 12:30 for the remix service, a 2 o'clock meditation hour with the beautiful Kara Bershad on the harp. We continue at 2:30 with our step-up service, and 4 o'clock for our afternoon Yisker, healing, and Ne'ilah services. Please bring food to the ark. Please leave your prayer books on the chair on your way out. Please watch all the wires. A huge thank you to the production company. But before we leave, we gather together as a congregation. We gather together as a community. And we, at every service, always offer a Misha Berach, a prayer for healing. Tonight, it's our closing song. And we sing it loud. We sing it proud. We say the names of the people that we're thinking of tonight. We join together in this prayer for healing. Healing of body, healing of spirit. Healing to all those in need, comfort, strength, and memory. May you be signed and sealed for a good year. Shana Shlema, a full and complete year. Thank you to all of our musicians, to Kenner Markowitz, to Kenner Bach, to Orna, to Ken, to Ben Manis, to Kara. Thank you. Please leave your prayer books on your chair, and may you be sealed for a good year.